Oh, just a second.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the FPL Banger Show. My name is Siva, and I'm joined by the number one content creator for FPL in the whole goddamn world, Sam.
Only because all content creators followed the same template, and so all of them are did not have a game week one. But it's a mixed feeling, Siva, because although I'm happy to have a great game week one, I feel it can all only go downhill from here.
No, mates. And as you can see, if you go to fplgameweek.com, check them out. I don't think this is an ad because you're not getting paid, but go and check it out. Top of the content creators league, Sam. Sam, FPL Banger. I'm a very respectable fourth, but who cares? Sam, you're not just at the top, Sam. You're 12 points clear.
Oh.
This isn't
Is
even
that-
a close call.
Is there an actual FPL content creators league? Like, is that actually a thing?
Somewhere right now in Buenos Aires, someone's setting up the FPL team. They're looking, okay, I should follow the best content creators. Let me check out FPL Gameweek. Who's top of the content creators league? It's Sam of FPL Banger with the Malaysian flag. 90% of people looking at this picture will be wondering, what flag is that? Why is the American flag looking different today?
Yeah. It's like, okay, I almost said something that could have got us into a lot of trouble. So I was gonna say an American flag if a certain something happened. But yeah.
Let's not get us cancelled, Sam, because you're top of the world. And Sam, I must say, it took a lot of cojones, right? Because you went against the grain, as you said, right? You didn't respect the template. You didn't own Salah. You went through Friday night, and you were what, 60 seconds away from getting away with it, but didn't matter because injury time goal for Salah. But who cares? You still smashed it.
Not only that, Siva, I think I was like 60 seconds away from bench boost glory with my double Brighton defense right there. Less than 60 seconds, maybe. But I mean, I can't complain with this score, but it could have been so much better.
I mean,
Forest as well, double Forest defense. Like, the potential I could have got was so high, ruined by, unfortunate, but at the same time, 90 points, really high game week rank and overall. Stop the count, Siva. Let's end FPL right now. In fact, let's end this episode. Like, that's all we need to talk about.
That's crazy, right? Brighton losing the clean sheet in injury time. Diouf had a chance cleared off the line. I mean, you could have been manager of the week, Sam. You weren't that far off.
Yeah.
Much respect to you. I did okay, but so we've got the. We'll try and hold on to this top content creators position. It won't last, but I mean,
they were not bad. I mean, we are both in the top 4. I mean, Champions League spots for both of us.
Champions League spots. We don't take a single cent of your money. We have no ads to promote. We have no apps to sell you. I feel almost disappointed. We should start selling some
dodgy gambling sites to push out.
Not that, I mean, you do what you want to do in your own time. Okay, so enough pats on the back. Let's get to the FL content. And I mean, we got to start only in one place for me, because obviously one of the biggest matches over the weekend, a fallen giant against a team that really probably should be winning the league. A team that has got the best striker in Europe, some would say, but I would say in the world, best up and coming striker in the world. And that, of course, I'm speaking about Chris Wood and Nottingham Forest. You thought I was speaking about Arsenal, but no, I'm talking about Chris Wood. Chris Wood now, the most non-pen goals since Nuno joined Forest. More than Haaland. I mean, or same as Haaland, because Haaland equaled him the next day. But same as Haaland. More than Salah. More than Gyokeres. More than whoever else. It's in the Premier League, so this is not the best way of saying it. But Chris Wood, Sam, 2 shots, 2 goals. We said he was finished.
100% efficiency. What is that? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was finished, but clearly he's still from New Zealand. Should we just have gone with Chris Wood?
Yeah, I think not only us, but I think actually all the Premier League teams were looking for strikers who have gone with Chris Wood. You know how many chances Chelsea created, United created? If we had Chris Wood, we would have won the game like 8-0 or something like that.
And it wasn't a fluke, right? Because if you go and watch I mean, okay, so the first goal, fine, it's a set piece, right? And Brentford appointed their set piece coach and conceded from a set piece within 5 minutes, which is poetic. But the second goal, Elliot Anderson, we've got on screen here, that is a disgusting assist because he takes it first time. He is behind the halfway line and he just boom, 60-yard pass first time. Chris Wood is already making the run. He knows that that's going to come. And it's a great finish. Rounds the keeper, rounds Kelleher. I mean, Quaven Kelleher's won cup finals and no match for Chris Wood, man.
Yeah. Honestly, I had Chris Wood in my draft for so long, and then I fell into the exact thing I told myself not to fall into, which is do not trust preseason form. Fell into that trap. Sometimes it's bad to be so engaged, right? Like if we were casuals, we were just, yeah, I'm gonna put Chris Wood in my team. If we didn't, know about any preseason score. But here's some stats for you, by the way. Non-FPL related somewhat, but Chris Wood is on 91 Premier League goals. That puts him on level with Ole. That puts him higher than Giroud, Rashford, Haaland for now, Dennis Bergkamp. Like, he has been doing the business in the Premier League for a long time. So put some respect on his name. All this to
Chris Wood
say
fan
Chris
club
Wood
right
in
here.
Game Week 2. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, man. Chris Wood fan club here. I mean, he's so underappreciated, so disrespected. Even now, I still see tweets. He can't keep this up. I mean, how much more do you want from this man? The only reason I didn't go with Chris Wood is basically because Forest have signed something like 10 attackers and no defenders. They have signed Igor Jesus. They have signed Omari Hutchinson. They have signed James McAtee. Now, I know these are not strikers necessarily, but they're signing so many attackers. It just makes me feel nervous. But maybe I was just being stupid because Chris Wood's main competition in terms of a number 9 at Forest, a recognized number 9, because Igor Jesus tends to play number 10. His only competition is Taiwo Awoni, who's just not been at it for like more than a year. So Forest still have great fixtures. I honestly really should just be getting Chris Wood this week, but as usual, won't make the sensible moves, right? Because there are more exciting moves to make, like this guy, Tijani Reijnders, Sam, who you did not have, but I did, and I did tell you he was
Right.
amazing.
He did do well. I think, yeah, anything I can say against him now is basically copium, right? He looked good. He passed the eye test. He, easy fixtures coming up. He's cheap. Yes, his price went up and might go up again by the time, the game week is over. But yeah, 5.6 for what he offer. That's not the same mistake we made with Gundo, guys.
He definitely feels like the next Gundo, but in some ways he feels like even more than that because he wasn't just making those late runs to score the goals, but also he dictated the midfield. Like he looks like Gundo 10 years younger, but with, I don't know, 10 centimeters taller, just commands the midfield, looked immediately in place. Now, of course, it's Wolves, right? So we should bear that in mind. Like he was playing a Wolves team that have sold players. They're playing Matt Doherty as a centre back in 2025. So
I thought they looked good going forward, though. I have to say, I was really impressed with Strand Larsen. If anyone has him, I think keep. And he's actually on my watch list, of strikers. I think he's 6.5, right?
yeah,
So I
6.5.
think he could really come good this season. The only thing I have against bringing in Reijnders this week is the fact that he is the most brought in player in FPL this week. And that's a curse. Like, no one does well the week they are brought in.
Well, Spurs is not the easiest game, right? So it's easy for me to say this as somebody who already owns Reinders. I'm not sure he would be my first transfer this week if I didn't own him because it feels like Spurs at home. Okay, it's an okay fixture. It's perfectly acceptable, but is it like the biggest priority transfer in this week? I'm not sure. I don't know, Sam. You don't have Reinders. Are you bringing him in this week?
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with you. Spurs look so much solid defensively. They are not the Spurs of last year, right? I think Thomas Frank looks like he's doing a good job. And I can see it being a tough game for City. So I would think this may not be the point to hop on. If you have him, that's great. If you don't, you can wait until game week 3, of. But at the same time, his price is only going to go up, right? Because it's so cheap. The counter to that, though, is that no matter what, he's really accessible. Even if his price goes up 5.7, 5.8, it's still cheap as chips.
Mm. let's talk about Reijnders, I suppose, in the context of people downgrading their midfield, right? Because a lot of the big midfielders didn't return this week. Now, Salah got away with 1 goal, but Palmer blanked, Wirtz blanked, Bruno blanked. And so I think one of the temptations, and I'm having this temptation as well, is to get one of these cheap guys, Reijnders, Elliot Anderson, Anton Stack of Leeds, who hit the DEFCON threshold and got an assist, so 8 points for him. These guys all look very interesting, and you can use them to get the guy at the
Adding
top of the screen, Erling
sorry,
Haaland.
adding one more into the 5.5 mid list, O'Reilly from Brighton.
Nick Matt O'Reilly, yes, who took the
Yeah,
pen.
took the pen, looked really good, really creative, really involved. 5.5 pen taker.
He was linked to a move with Juventus, which is why I avoided him. But it seems like the most recent news is that he is content to stay put. But this is one of those things, right? I mean, as long as the window is open, you never know. Like Strand Larson yesterday, I saw news linking him to Newcastle. You just never know. We all had Cancelo, and suddenly we woke up the next day and he was owned by Bayern Munich instead of Man City. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
but how do you feel about this, Sam? Because you've got Haaland. So again, probably not a question for you, more for me. A lot of people who have Salah don't want to sell, so they're using these 5 million midfielders to downgrade Bruno and Woods to get Haaland. So first of all, maybe what do you think about doubling up on Salah and Haaland? Is it now viable that because we've got these many budget mids, and do you need Haaland for game week 2 for a hit, mind you?
Is this an you want my unbiased take?
I mean, you've got Haaland, right? So give me an unbiased take. I give you one on Reijnders, so give me your unbiased take.
Well, I think unbiased take, yeah, it looks viable at this stage of the season, right? We have all these cheap midfielders, but that's the thing. We have so little data. We have just one game week. And yeah, these 5.0, 5.5 midfielders look like they perform well, but can they keep it up over, the next couple of weeks? Because expensive players or premium players tend to show their pedigree over time, right? So I think there's a lot of recency bias, like in the most extreme form possible. A 1 game week, and you're like, yeah, I can survive with just 5.5 midfielders, picking, of course, the 5.5 midfielders who returned in that 1 game week. You know what I'm saying?
You say that, Sam, but I didn't even mention Pop Matissar. 5 million, 6 pointers. He was one DEFCON away from the threshold.
Yeah, but if Eze comes, which seems like almost a certainty right now, then he's definitely pushed back, or maybe even loses his place.
Possible. Very possible.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. Like, he could play off the left, but yeah, he could play number 10 as well. So that could be an issue. So basically, even as a Haaland owner, Sam, you're telling me that I can sleep relatively comfortably this week without owning Haaland, especially for a hit.
I don't know. So this is why I went for Haaland instead of Salah, right? I'm not against a game week 2 hit. I've done it, many times in previous seasons, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think you just gotta look very objectively at your team, like the upcoming fixtures, how they played, how is the team playing around them. And if it's worth taking a hit to take 2 players in and out, that's fine. If you made a mistake with your game week 1 lineup, sure, do it. But I think players like Palmer's, about to embark on a really good fixture run, right? Like Chelsea as a whole. They got West Ham, who are horrible. Fulham's kind of 50-50. Brentford look horrible. United, Brighton. At least for the next 3 fixtures you want to keep. And I think that's kind of the case with a lot of these premium assets, right? Like one bad game week does not mean they are a bad asset.
You are, of course, speaking about Cole Palmer, the man who has not scored an open play goal since January. And
Yeah,
we're in the month of
I am.
August.
I am aware, but it is a new season, Siva. So forget about last season. Let's look objectively in the first game, in which yes, he did not play so well, but I think Chelsea as a whole looked kind of rusty. They were sloppy with passes. They were creating chances. They could have gone ahead many times, right? It just doesn't seem to be clicking yet. But perhaps game week 2 is when it clicks, especially against a really, really poor West Ham side.
That's true. Yeah, fair enough. Let's talk about another team who, well, actually, it was the first fixture of the week, right? And this is the one you, Sam, and I both had Hugo Ekitike. And I think both very much vindicated, right? Because Alexander Isak, we are recording on Wednesday, it hasn't moved. He's put out one Insta story about how he's sad, and Newcastle have put out their own statement saying they don't care. So that's not moved anywhere. In the meantime, Hugo Ekitike, he looks like the forward to have this season. 8.5
Yeah,
million
yeah.
should be going up anytime soon, I would think.
I'm gonna thank you for this, Eva, because I think it was one of our preview podcasts. Was it the first one or the second one? But you really convinced me to get Ekitike, and I went for it. So that's thanks to you. And yeah, I think he looks good. Honestly, it looks like Liverpool don't even need Isak, right? What they need maybe is a cover for Ekitike instead of using Ekitike for cover. I mean, if you do get, always great to have good players in the team, but I don't think they will be that far back compared if they got Isak. He looks good, basically.
Yeah, he's already linking up very well with Words. I really like his goal. It's very much, if you watch the highlights, and you'll see that Words sort of drags two players out of position specifically for Ekitike to make the run, and then he scores. Looks really good. And I think the fact that Isak hasn't moved, it's, if anything, it's just extra motivation, right? These guys all are fighting for their place. So they will just want to keep doing well, to show that we don't need Isak. We should still be starting. I'm sure for these guys, especially Ekitike, right? Big money signing. Probably slightly annoyed by the fact that I don't think when he came in, he would have been told, yeah, we're going to spend 150 million on another striker in 2 weeks' time. So probably some motivation there. Now, Liverpool's fixtures are not the easiest, right? So, do you go in with Ekitike in a game which has so much narrative, right? He's going to Newcastle this week. They should have signed him. They didn't. Liverpool did. Isak sitting in the stands somewhere in a hood. I mean, this has got all the narrative you want. Do you go for Ekitike this week if you don't have him?
I think it's tough because, like you said, Newcastle and then Arsenal back to back. So two
Yeah.
very, very solid teams. And then you have game week 4 in which they play Burnley, Everton, and Palace. So that seems like a better entry point.
Yeah, I would think so too. Antoine Semenyo, though, and we did get a question here from FPL Hafiz. Is it time to bring in Antoine Semenyo? And I was looking back at this. It really feels quite stupid that I didn't just start with him, because we knew that Liverpool defense doesn't look great. You know that Semenyo's nailed. You know that Semenyo, he plays every week. 11 goals, 5 assists last season. So, and could even theoretically get pens because Clivert is out and Evan Nilsson's not very good at them. And okay, Semenyo doesn't have a long track record, but the one time he took a pen, I think it was the FA Cup, like just smashed it in. No questions asked. Why didn't we get Semenyo? Because they play Wolves this week, and their upcoming fixtures all look pretty decent for attacking returns.
Yeah, I think game week 2 onwards looks great, actually, honestly, their fixtures. It's just game week 1. That's why it's really hard to justify bringing in a player who's about to play the winners, and then there's so much uncertainty with their whole defense leaving and things like that. So I think it's a justifiable decision. I will caution though against Semenyo because this happened many times last season. He has one game where he's brilliant, and then he goes like 3 games, 4 games with barely any returns. Not for the lack of trying. Like eye test wise, he always passes. He always gets into good positions, takes lots of shots, very involved. But I think last season he was really wasteful. If I'm not mistaken, he was the player with the most shots in the Premier League or something like that, right? Conversion rate is not quite at Chris Wood level yet. Maybe this is the season it starts to go up. But I am happy if I owned him, but I wouldn't be rushing to bring him in just yet.
You say that, but I mean, it's a very attractive price point, no?
It is. It's nicely at that middle. It's hard for me, I think, to justify because I am pretty much happy with almost all my midfielders. Don't really have a rush to bring anyone in. Happy to keep Palmer, Gakpo, Sa, Kudus. Kudus did really well in the weekend as well. The only player that maybe I can consider transferring out is Njai because Everton did not look good. But then I don't have the funds to upgrade because it's 6.5.
So not a hit, yeah, because I think a lot of people have Florian Woods, and that includes me. It is tempting, right? You release a lot of funds. You get somebody with a good fixture this week because Wolves, right? Again, for all we say about City looking good, Wolves defensively anyway, even if they had some good moments going forward, a lot of offsides, but good moments going forward. It's still Wolves. Antoine Semenyo playing on the left, so that means he's against, I think, David Wolf, who has signed for Wolves. Parents must be very proud, and Matt Doherty on that flank. So, I mean, this feels like a good fixture for Semenyo. Of course, I take your point, Sam. He did this a lot last season. In the obvious fixtures, he would blank, and then in the tough ones, he would suddenly score. So it didn't make sense. But it is very tempting, especially if you're one of those who didn't have a good game week one. You want to do something. You don't want to just sit back.
I wouldn't be against it. Let me put it that way, because Bournemouth's fixtures are great. So you can take a look at it in a medium term way, right? Like it's not just the Wolves fixtures here. If he blanks this one, there's still a bunch of good fixtures coming up. So I wouldn't be against it. Although I do think Woods will eventually grow into the role and start returning, right? He was close, I think, last week.
Yeah, I mean, not in terms of goals per se, but he definitely had chances created. It was quite good, and he did move in towards the number 9 as the game went into the closing stages. And Florian Wirtz, I mean, his stats speak for itself, right? There's no reason why Ekitike, who had very good stats in the Bundesliga, comes to Liverpool. He's scoring. There's no reason why Wirtz logically shouldn't also pick up. But it is one of those, like, if he doesn't do anything in game week 2, game week 3 is a very tempting drop off. But then game week 4 is Burnley, so I want to wait and see. I'm not sure I will sell this week, but that is that temptation. Let's talk about now the big game, right? Very briefly, because we did have a question here from Joseph Melvin. Is Cunha the best footballer in the world? Like, this was a, I mean, this
I
was a
think
very
he would
confusing game.
be if it wasn't that there's another footballer named Chris Wood, but close enough, I guess.
Very close enough. I will say that I almost shat my pants when Cunha ran through like 5 Arsenal defenders, but luckily ran out of steam. Now, everything I've read about this game suggests that United were amazing. They thrashed Arsenal 0-1. They dominated Arsenal 0-1. The best ever defeat you've ever seen. Now, what's your thoughts on United time? Because Fulham next is actually a decent entry point, no?
I think United look really good, right? But could not close it out. And you could attribute that partly to Raya, right? He had a really, really good game, brilliant saves. But at the same time, you could also say that the strikers and the forwards, the attackers, were just not clinical enough, right? Maybe when Sesko finally comes in, things will change. I don't know how long it would take until he's fully, ready to be in the starting lineup. I will say though, I was very impressed by Cunha and Mbeumo. I think they'll both be really good assets once, maybe even from game week 2 onwards, right? I thought they looked really good. Unlucky. And if I had to pick one, I would actually go Mbeumo over Cunha because I think he looked marginally more involved. But at the same time, it is really marginal. You can look at the stats here that Silva has on screen. Expected goals for Cunha is 0.04, for Mbeumo 0.42. Like I said, marginal.
I'm content to wait another week on United. I think Fulham is a good fixture to assess, right? I think the Arsenal game, one of those, right? Game week 1 vibes. Arsenal look really undercooked. And maybe the game state also, the way Arsenal just didn't seem to bother defending the flanks, like just sort of like, oh, you're going to play 5 back. We don't care about Dalo and Dogu, and honestly gave them acres of space. Like, logically to me, Fulham will be a bit more cautious than Arsenal were in that sense. So I'm happy to wait
Speaking of
1 week.
Dogu, which you mentioned, I thought he had a really good game and looks to be a gem at 4.5.
Hit the bar, look really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very keen.
Think
Game week 3,
yeah,
I think, is an excellent entry point for these guys. Okay, so Arsenal, very bad, to a man. All awful except for David Raya. So as the one person in this content creator league, Sam, who apparently owns Victor Gyokeres, should I be selling in week 2 before he plays Leeds?
it's really tough because Arsenal has a good fixture coming up, so it's really hard to justify selling. But if you look on performance alone, then looks like he's not quite there yet, to play with the team. And this is why I don't put in new signings in my team, Siva, especially not people who just joined like 2 weeks before the deadline.
As if Hugo Ekitike was not already. I mean, but I get I take the point, right? Gyokeres came in much later. Yes, I take the point.
Yeah, it's too big of a risk. Like they take time to play with a new team, new attackers. But I will say though, I think he was a victim I mean, no excuses for him. He did play badly, right? To put it bluntly, but also a victim of the way Arteta wanted Arsenal to set up, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
He just didn't
Very
really
weird.
seem. Yeah, it was weird. Didn't really seem even interested in attacking. Really, I
Yeah, it was just
don't understand what
pumping
he was
forward
doing.
long balls. Very weird. Didn't seem to capture any of his actual runs. Of course, he didn't do himself any favors. When he got into good positions, he would beat one guy and then not know what to do with it. I'm content to give him one more week, but obviously you're not buying any of these guys. But we did have a question here, and I guess we can come straight to it because it is captaincy, right? Robin Doda, your honest feedback on Salah v Saka for the armband. And perhaps if I jump ahead, we don't need to talk about FDR and fixtures, just talk about captaincy right now, because that's the key question here. Is anyone really brave enough to go for an Arsenal player? They have the best fixture this week on paper, and yet I don't see anybody even remotely interested in captaining an Arsenal player.
Yeah, I think there's a few factors that go into that, right? First of all, they played badly in the last game, and then second, they're gonna play Leeds, who kept a clean sheet in their debut against. Of course, it was against Everton, but it factors into your thinking. If you look at it objectively, you should be captaining an Arsenal player if you have one. That's probably the reason why you have an Arsenal player. In fact, right?
Yeah, and I'm surprised that everyone's being this reactionary. And I get it, we looked awful, but we were playing a very expensively assembled team who, for all their faults last season, clearly have improved over the summer. And you're playing Leeds. Now, yes, Everton did nothing against Leeds, but I would say that's much more down to Moyes and Everton rather than anything specific to Arsenal or Leeds. So I'm still captaining Victor Gyökeres this week. I don't care, man. Like, I bought this guy in for this picture. I'm going with it. I'm not scared. Like, you weren't scared, Sam. You know, you, the top FPL content creator in the world, were not scared in Game Week 1 when Salah had Bournemouth at home on a Friday night. And if you are not scared, how can I be scared when I have Victor Gyökeres? I, amongst many millions who do not own him, I have him. This is the fixture he was made for. It's a championship fixture. This man was cooking for Coventry 2 seasons ago. So, how can I be scared of Joe Rodon? Come on.
And Pascal Strick, FPL legend.
Joe
Who,
Rodon, Pascal Strick, Ethan Ampadu. I mean, this is the kind of people Victor Gyökeres wakes up and eats for breakfast, man. This is the fixture he was made for. If I don't captain him here, why do I even have him?
that's true. I think it would take real balls to captain Gyökeres. Now Saka, I can kind of get behind, right? Saka, Gyökeres. I don't know.
What
I
does that
think
mean?
that's a
Saka is Saka, mate. Saka may not even be on pens. Did you not see the tweet from a FPL Swedish account who is reading some Swedish article that's in Swedish, and so therefore we're gonna have to believe him. But it says that
and
Gyökeres is now on
and
pens.
definitely not biased in whatsoever way, right?
I'd be stunned if Arteta's telling your Chris's agent, "Yeah, sure, mate, you got pens. Please sign for us." I can't, but who knows? Either way, are you captaining an Arsenal player over Salah or Haaland or Palmer this week? And if not, who is the captain?
I think even if I owned an Arsenal player, I would still captain Salah or Haaland.
So boring. You've become template Sam. One week at the top, and you've turned into template Sam. This is not, old Sam would tell me to do what my heart tells me to
I
do.
mean, that's
Old
my
Sam wouldn't say this.
that's the level-headed version of my answer. And then the other side of it is, yes, captain your Arsenal player. Like, no one's gonna captain that. It's gonna be fun. You have Salah and Haaland anyway. You already got half their points that other people are captaining.
I should
Salah
probably
at
point out that
least.
most people
Right?
don't have Haaland, but yes.
Salah at least. Salah at least. So I'm still captaining Haaland this week probably because he's still kind of differential, and I like to captain differentials. One day when Haaland is no longer a differential, everyone has him in his team, then I'm gonna transfer him out, and that's it.
So I mean, fair. No, if I were your shoes, I would captain Haaland. You've got him already. Would you go Salah or Palmer? Because I think that is the debate for most people.
I will go Salah.
Okay.
Because
but
Chelsea did not look good anyway, right? And there's no they created chances. They look good as a whole. Like, I can expect some returns. Like, they're not gonna blank against West Ham. hopefully. But Palmer Palmer himself did not look good. I don't have confidence captaining Palmer. In fact, if he doesn't do anything this week, I'll probably sell him off my team.
I'm very surprised though, Sam. I said fair, but actually, when I think about it, I mean, it's West Ham, mate. They conceded 3 to Sunderland. Um, they look awful. And whereas Newcastle, to me, a much, very, very controlled performance against Villa away from home. Yes, Villa had Konsa sent off. But even before then, Villa's actually was at halftime was 0.00, right? With
Yeah.
Rogers, with Watkins, they make a diff. So I'm surprised because I honestly, even if I don't captain Gyökeres, I don't think I captain Salah. For me, I would still go with Palmer. Like, yeah, sure, Chelsea have been bad, but it's West Ham. They look awful. I don't see the Olympic Stadium as being much of a fortress. If anything, I think the Olympic Stadium is one of those, a lot of casuals with respect to the fans sitting there. Definitely, there's a lot of tourists and stuff. Like when it goes bad, like the crowd there turns, and so I feel like you got Chelsea, much better team on paper. Cole Palmer against Max Kilman and Naif are good, and Matt Hermansen, who basically new keeper for West Ham, just threw some of those goals into his own net, right? Like,
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
to be
really
honest,
captaining Palmer.
like he's maybe, I wouldn't say the sole reason they considered 3, but definitely at fault for 2 of those 3 goals at least.
It is impressive how bad a debut he has, but I mean, maybe miscommunications with the back line. I don't know, but yeah, he did not
Yeah.
look good. And so I'm
I will
surprised that
admit,
you're not even tempted by Palmer.
Palmer. I will admit that Palmer was my captain in my team all the way until yesterday when I switched it to Haaland. So
Okay.
So the level-headed advice is, yeah, Captain Salah or second choice Haaland, but the spicy pick is captain your Palmers, captain your Sakas, captain your, I don't know. Can you? I don't know if I can say in good faith to captain Watkins.
So that was the conversation, right? I think at some point after people saw Forest Brentford, and Brentford did not look good. But again, I don't know, Watkins somehow, right? It just something about it does not feel. But I mean, we have this goal scorer predicted stats from Check the Chance, right? The odds for this week. And Watkins is not a million miles off. It is a good fixture, but away from home, maybe.
Yeah, I think if you had no one else, then yeah, Watkins. But most of us would probably have, Haaland, a Palmer. I would rather captain one of those over Watkins.
All right. So I think for me, Sam, only as the fourth best content creator in the world, I would still say that people should go for Palmer. Like, I don't think people should be so scared. Again, if Salah doesn't get that last second goal, we're really not discussing this. So for me, I think Palmer would be the one for the normal people. And then for the weirdos like you and me, we've got our respective, not Scandinavian captains, but, Northern European captains. Yeah. And
I didn't realize that.
if I don't captain Vicky Gyökeres, please feel free to unfollow because I would be very disappointed myself if I suddenly lose the courage between now and the weekend.
Very interesting, Siva. I don't feel like you will do it. And perhaps this is egging you on, but I don't think you have the balls to do it, Siva. Not in a bad way. You're just kind of a safe FPL manager, but maybe this is the change this year. Let's see.
No, man,
Let's see
I
how it
just,
goes.
I just, it somehow something strikes at me. And I get that he may only play 60 minutes, but to me, like, this is the fixture he was made for. And if he blanks, I will take that like on the chin. Fair enough. I gave it my best shot. Like, either way, I'm probably selling him because game week 3, I'm either getting Haaland or I'm getting Chris Wood. It's one of the two. I need to sit and conduct a very thorough analysis of who is the better striker because honestly, at this point, it's up for debate. Like,
Yeah. Fair. I think it could probably be the same for Palmer as well. Like, captain him if you have him, and then if he blanks, sell him in game week 3, and it opens up so many options for you, right?
Oh yeah, one of Palmer Salah is definitely going for me in game week 3. To be honest with you, like they are not. They just don't strike me with that kind of like the spiciness or the just doesn't feel like they are doing what I want them to do. And game week 3, United v Burnley, Gotta have Brian and Mbeumo for that game, I think. Um,
Yeah.
Probably might be a captaincy candidate.
I think Palmer's definitely leaving my team after this West Ham game. I mean, he is 60% on. That's disgusting. I don't want a 60% on player in my team. He's as far from spicy as he can get, you know? It's like below lemon and herb. It's like no seasoning at all. Plain chicken.
So for the narrow crowd that goes to Nando's, we've captured that demographic. I'm very happy to hear. That's us for this week. We want to keep it short and sweet. It's a Friday deadline. We hate Friday deadlines. We live in Malaysia, right? And it's deadline at 1:30 a.m. on Saturday morning. We just don't like it. But I guess we're the glory hunters, the plastics, so we can't complain. But in the meantime, Sam, top
Yeah.
FPL content creator in the world. What's your sign off here?
Get your green arrows, guys. And watch my arrows be red as I overthink things and make bad decisions.
Nah, wait, no chance, no chance. First in the world next week.